Hi, I'm Louisa Sijabat, a liquidator and bankruptcy trustee. So today's question is, I'd like to make an offer to purchase the assets of a company in voluntary administration from its voluntary administrator. Firstly, are there any things in making such an offer, or elements of such an offer, that voluntary administrators tend to like and tend not to like? And secondly, I'm a bit uncertain about the value of some of the assets. For example, customer retention into the future. Is there any ability to include wiggle room in my offer to the administrator? So, in answering this question, I will need to provide some generalizations. Please know that for every situation, it's best to look specifically at the situation and tailor your approach for that situation. But here are some general observations from my experience as an administrator. Administrators tend to favour certain offers over uncertain offers. For example, if there are two offers of the same value, but one is to be paid within 7 days or 14 days in full, and the second one is to be paid in instalments over time, there will generally be favouring of the offer that pays in a shorter period of time because it provides more certainty to the administrator. Another form of uncertainty that a lot of people consider or inquire about is the ability to include some sort of earnout in the offer. For example, a percentage of revenue of customers retained, or a percentage of something if the business continues to trade to a certain level of performance into the future. Administrators can sometimes find this hard to price, especially in smaller and medium enterprises, where forecasting future results might not be as certain or might not be able to be done with as much clarity as can sometimes happen in larger organisations. Sometimes administrators may price that offer conservatively and just price the certain component. For example, if there's an upfront component and an earnout, they might just price the upfront component because they might not know what range to include for the potential earnout, and the earnout potentially could be zero, so that could be a potential scenario, so they might price that component at zero. Also, is there the ability to include wiggle room if you're unsure as to the value of the asset? Now, I'm not a lawyer, so you might like to speak to your lawyer about certain legal options available for that, but you might be considering things along the lines of making an offer subject to due diligence, or subject to legal documentation, or things along that kind of path. Alternatively, you might also like to price the risk of the uncertainty into the value of your offer. For example, in a worst case scenario, if a lot of what you hoped for, from these assets does not eventuate, what price would you still be willing to pay for the assets? Or, not just in a worst case scenario, but what's a likely case scenario or a best case scenario? And use risk-based pricing and price the risk into your offer.